Okay, so this video I'm going to go over the error analysis. So this is where we have solved problems and there was a mistake that happened. And your task is to identify the mistake, explain the mistake, and then solve it correctly, showing all your work. Okay? So it's usually the explain the mistake that you guys struggle with. So make sure you are actually explaining the mistake. So let's look at number 13 here. So number 13. Now, one possible way of doing this before I get started, one way of doing this would be to actually cover up the work. I mean, everybody has their own thing. Cover up the work and solve it yourself. And then compare your work with theirs and see if you can identify where the difference is. And that's usually where the mistake is. Now, that being said, sometimes you make the same mistake and you can't find it, which in that case, if you make that mistake, maybe you need to go back and check your answers on your other problems because you probably did it at some other point in the test. Okay, so looking at this, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through and just identify the mistake. So it looks like they divided by 6 to get it to a base of 6, which is good. That's what you should do, right? They did the little factor tree. So it looks like very similar handwriting. Maybe it's mine. Maybe I made this mistake. Okay, so they did the factor tree, and they got 4 sixes. So you could rewrite that as 6 to the 4th. But right here, I can already see their mistake. This was a fraction, right? When you write the 6 to the 4th, it should be 1 over 6 to the 4th. They didn't do that. They skipped that step, and that's important because it ends up changing the sign to a negative when you move it upstairs. So they didn't change the sign of the exponents. Okay, so there's the explanation. Let's solve it correctly. So let's start right here. So they should be at 6 to the negative 4 equals 6 to the negative 2x plus 8. Okay, now they have the same base, and it's a negative 4 this time. They dropped the base, set the exponents equal to each other. Negative 4 is equal to negative 2x plus 8. You would minus the 8, giving you negative 12 is equal to negative 2x, and then divide by negative 2. That gives you 6 is equal to x. And that is a much different answer, right? So that is how you should be doing it. Let's look at the next one. And again, these problems, you're going to have very, very similar problems and probably similar mistakes on the test, just FYI. This one, they have 1 is equal to 5 to the negative x minus 1. I can see the mistake right away, and it's right here. They tried to divide by 5 to get this to a base of 1. You can't do that. You have to change the 1 to a base of 5. And you do that by using the 0 property. So they didn't use the 0 property, 0 exponent property, I should clarify, to change the 1. That was their mistake. Let's solve it correctly. So what they should have started with is they should have started by changing this to 5 to the 0. So 5 to the 0 is equal to 5 to the negative x minus 4. That should have been their first step. Now they have the same base. They're going to drop the bases, set them equal to each other. 0 is equal to negative x minus 4. They should add 4 to each side, giving you 4 is equal to negative x. Divide by negative 1 gives you negative 4 is equal to x. And that would be your answer. Okay? All right. If you have any questions or concerns or any problems, talk to your teacher. We're all here to help.